All right, thank you very much. Let's cut to the chase. Books are $21.80. I'll be sitting right over there. So anyway, I feel like I need to have a public apology here for the downgrade in this year's event with me not being Bruce Pearl. You don't know how hard it is when you got to be Bruce Pearl's replacement and everyone's like, oh, Bruce isn't coming? Oh, all right, Dave. Okay, that'll work. Anyway, nevertheless, it continues my tour of what the coaches are calling the shameless self-promotion tour, which I'll be happy to talk to your son as long as you're handing me $20. But, nevertheless, that's where I stand. I'm off scholarship trying to make a buck. I got to tell you, it's just such an honor for me. This is one of the best honors I've ever had at Tennessee, is to share the stage with these people here. It really hit home to me when I was looking through the program and you're looking at all these unbelievable people that have achieved so much, and then you got me in the back of that. That was just such a thrill for me, and especially Coach Fulmer and Coach Summit. And what they've done was how far they raised the bar of excellence and winning at the University of Tennessee. And for the first 2 years of my career at Tennessee, I got to tell you, it was terrible because the bar was raised so high, and they were proven champions. And really, we just didn't fit in. I wanted to fit in. I was walking on campus with my Tennessee basketball t-shirt, but I didn't have the same pride that the Lady Vols did and the football team did. And without them, we would have never had Bruce Pearl come in, because there wouldn't have been that standard that was raised and the commitment to what we have to do, because we all want to be winners. And a lot of times people ask me, you know, did you ever think that Knoxville or the UT fans could ever really come in and embrace a UT men's basketball team? I said, yeah, but we just had to give them something to cheer about. The Tennessee fans are the most loyal, passionate, energetic fans you could ever come across. We just got to give them something to cheer about, and we weren't doing that. So when they asked me, you know, do you think it could happen so fast? Maybe not so fast, but I always knew that the UT faithful would come through for us, and that's exactly what you did. And when you look at it, I mean, we're on the bubble of the NCAA tournament if it's not for UT. We didn't have a great road record, but every time we came home, we were able to get that energy back. We were 17-0 at home, broke a record at Thompson Bowling Arena. And to be honest with you, you might as well say 20-0, because we had 3 wins down the street over at the Gaylord Center, in which I think a number of you were at for the preseason IT and the Oklahoma State one. And so that right there created a home environment for us in which we're at a neutral site. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't think Oklahoma State claimed it was neutral at all. So, and the one thing that people always ask me as well is, what has Pearl done? Well, the one thing is he instilled confidence in us, in which we're all underachieving at the time. Every single one of us had been brought to the SEC to play for a reason, but we weren't reaching our expectations. We weren't having fun playing the game, which is the main thing. And he came in and instilled that confidence that we had as high school players, but then also he would expose your strengths and hide your weaknesses. He's not going to do anything that you're not great at. He's going to make you look like the best player in the world, and actually you end up overachieving under him. And the one thing that he always did, and one thing we preached, was deserved victory. And that hit home for me the most, is that every time I took that court and I looked over at the opponent, I felt like I deserved to win more than he did because of our preparation. And when I looked at that opposing coaching staff, I knew that our staff had prepared more than them, and there was no way or no reason that we didn't deserve to win this game, which makes it feel a lot better. Losing is always tough, but when you know that everyone inside that locker room has given the appropriate amount of effort and time into preparing for that game, it makes you feel like whatever was meant to be is meant to be. And it's too easy to say that winning cures all, because that obviously has helped a lot of things around the program. But you know, Bruce Pearl had 24,000 versus East Tennessee State before he'd even won a game at Tennessee. So he went out and promoted as well as he could, and he was working extremely hard, the same way he was his whole life with Southern Indiana. You would love to see this guy. He's having so much fun, because he always uses the line, you know, I've been poor my whole life. I'm really having fun being rich right now. And it's hilarious, because you go over there, and like they just got a pool put in, and he's like a little kid that he's diving in the pool, and they just got a boat. He's on the boat all day with the cell phone to call recruits and act like he's in the office. Yeah, I'm just studying some tape here. Mike, you get off that jet ski. You know. Anyway, it's been great to see that, and he's had such an impact on my life. But you see how he's affected the players and what coaches can do to a young person's life. But I don't think people see beyond that enough when you talk about someone like myself, who has so many family members and friends that have followed my career all my life, and then see me at such an unhappy state. For someone to come in and just really provides so much glory to the game and the thing that I was missing. I mean, it affects so much more than me. My grandmother is the greatest Bruce Pearl fan in the world. She can't follow the game, but I tell you, as long as her grandson's happy, she's happy. And you laugh at it, but I'm telling you, he's affected so many families and people that he's never even met. And that's the same thing these coaches do here. Obviously, Coach Pearl and I had an unbelievable relationship. And it's not just me, it's from me to all the walk-ons. And, you know, he was kind enough. And one thing he never does, he never asks anybody to do anything that he wouldn't do. If we're there at 6 a.m. for weights, he's there as well. If he, you know, is telling us to run sprints, it's something that he's done in the past, or he's right there with us. And obviously, you've seen him, you know, if he actually comes cheer for the games, he's willing to paint his chest and all that. But the one thing he also did was, when he asked donors to donate money, he realized that he had to show that he could do it himself. And he was kind and generous enough to donate a $100,000 scholarship in my name for, you know, student athletes that exemplify the right thing. That's not me bragging. I'm bragging on him more than me, but I really thought it was, like I was saying before, what a generous and kind act it was. And someone who could, I just thought the world of him for doing that. And for a long time I did, until I found out who the first recipient of the award he named. Walk-on Stephen Pearl. Well, what an incredible way to think there, you know. You got to pay for your kid to go to school anyway. Might as well not just look like you're making some huge, generous donation in some kid's name. Shed a few tears, act like you really mean it, and then you're sorry. I would have to say the first 2 years were such a struggle, but it was worth the wait. Success is sweetest afterwards, after you've gone through all that. And we're still, like I said, we're still trying to fit in. The excitement's there. We're making a lot of progress. I keep saying we, even though I'm gone. But we're still trying to get to Coach Summit and Coach Fulmer's level with those championship banners. And we're trying to be on our way, and we're taking all the necessary steps. And that's why I say, just to be a part of that big change was well worth those first 2 years of struggling. My life has changed tremendously. It's like night and day. I think you guys would have been, in a couple of years, probably been walking out the door as soon as I took the podium here. Well, I guess everybody's done talking. Let's just go. But I've even had a few people come up to me and say, you know, we actually named our son after you, or my nephew was named after you. And then I sit there and I catch myself saying, about to say, you know, how old is he? But then I realize, hell, he can't be any older than 1 or 2. Hey, you find me a 3 or 4-year-old baby Dane, I'll show you a true fan. That's what I'm saying. If you got one out there, I'll give him a free book. I know you're all interested in next season. I hate that I can't be there for it, but I'm fortunate for my first 2 years. There's so many players to name. Obviously, the big question is Tyler Smith. I hate to add any more pressure, but he's worth the hype. You know, sometimes we overanalyze, which we naturally do as fans, but he's a great competitor and great player, and he's going to provide a lot of things to the team. But the one thing that I really liked about him was it actually came up when we were in that summer league up there, and we were playing against his team, and most of the guys are out there just getting their 40 points, and he was doing that as well. But his team was down by about 15. We were playing him, and he was just furious that he was losing this summer league game. He was trying to rally his teammates out there in this so-called, you know, summer league that doesn't really matter or anything. And to know that he has that natural competitiveness in him and that desire to win, along with his ability, that's what makes the great players great and what separates people. You know, what last year was a negative, when you look at the inexperienced freshman class and the youth, is now an extreme positive. You have the most experienced sophomore class in the country, as well as talented. With all that said, I think we all need to remember that number 5 is still the guy to go to. Chris Lofton is still the man. I get a little frustrated when people don't continue to talk about Chris Lofton, but then I realize, you know, it's got to be such a huge compliment because people aren't even worrying about Chris Lofton. They know he's working hard in the offseason. They know he's going to go out there and make big shots. They're just worried about the people around him, and that's a huge compliment to him, how dependent he is. As for me, or I'll finish with this, with the expectations for next season, just promise yourself to tell yourself that Coach Pearl, no one under him will ever underachieve with his guidance. So, like I said, whatever's meant to be is meant to be, and that they will never underachieve. Whatever happens, happens. But also, stay patient with them. It's great because in college basketball, you have time to figure out who's coming off the bench, who's better starting, the right roles, and that's why I can't believe there's no job in the world I respect more than college football, because you have to have that stuff squared away by week 1, or no pressure, but you're screwed after that. or you better win about 12 straight and very convincingly. But I'm telling you, in basketball, you have that time, and you're allowed to be patient where you go through those rough stretches, and you can even finish the regular season on a drought, and then all of a sudden you win a few games in the end, and everything's fine. So that's the pleasure of being in college basketball rather than college football, and there's nothing I respect more than a head college football coach and Coach Fulmer. For me, I'm heading on to play in Holland at a city called Den Helder. I'll be playing for the Seals. My childhood dream was to be a Chicago Bull, and I'm a Den Helder Seal. So you win some and you lose some, but nevertheless, I'll play more games, I'll play in other gyms, but I'll never play in front of the UT faithful, which I'll miss incredibly, and there's been nothing greater than to play in front of you guys and to be joining this staff. So I hope once of all, always of all, and look forward to seeing you guys at all the games. Thanks so much.